back to my channel. It's your girl Shinta Brown, and today we are going to be talking about 5 tips that you need to know about to put on your resume.
Whenever I'm with you, I am alright. There's something about the way you make me feel inside. I'm counting down the days till we fly away, heading to the sun, only you and me. Don't wanna waste another day being stuck here in this place. No, I wanna hold your hand in mine, watch the sunset in your eyes. Baby, I want us to act like we are 22 right now. Just let go, lose control, play songs on the radio too loud. This could be magical. Whoa, this could be magical.
These are 5 things that you need that are very important that you need to have on your resume. Now, some of these tips may come off as duh, but believe you me. You know that slogan, believe you me. Honestly, I've looked at several resumes in the past 5 years. I mean, more than 500 resumes. And still to this day, I am shocked on things that I do not see on a resume. So I wanted to come here today and basically give you 5 key things that you need to put on your resume. Now, this video is perfect for someone who is a recent college graduate or a person who's already been in the working field, but they're now trying to come back. You know, maybe you had a baby, maybe COVID, or maybe you're just looking for a career change. These are 5 major tips that will help you as well. So, without further ado, let's get into it. So, believe it or not, my first tip is definitely going to be your name. Yes, your name. Your name is important. On any resume that you do, you cannot send a resume, and trust me, I've seen it time after time after time. I've received resumes and I don't even know who the person is. I don't have the person's phone number. It's like either they have the name, but they don't have the phone number. You want to make sure that you have your first and last name, the phone number, and your email. Those are 3 things that you need to put on the resume firstly. Before we get into anything else, you need to have your name, your full name, your phone number, and your email. Those are the 3 things because 1, how are we supposed to reach out to you? 2, how am I supposed to call you? And if I do have your phone number, what is your name? How am I going to call you? Usually when I get resumes like that, unfortunately, I just have to put it in the trash because I don't know how to contact you or I don't know what to call you. So why should I send you an email back? Why should I respond? Because if you couldn't even leave me your name, that means that you weren't that serious to begin with. Another thing that I want to touch on for my first one is the address. I've noticed that some people put their full-blown address on their resumes. Please do not do that. You definitely don't want to put your full-blown address, your social security on any resume. Those are things that go on an application. Those are things that you can provide once the person has reached out to you. But on a resume, you don't want to go ahead and put your social security and your address on your resume because honestly, once your resume is on one site, it's on every site and people have access to your information. So that means that you just given such and such a full-blown address to do whatever they choose to do with. So let's be safe on the internet and just provide your city, state, and zip code. And like I said, if they're wanting more from you when it comes to your address, you then want to provide the full address when requested or when you're applying for a position online via a full-blown application. So don't put full-blown addresses on your resume. Always make sure to put those city, state, and zip code only if you're going to put something there. Now, maybe somebody is asking somewhere, is it important for me to put my city, state, and zip code? One, I'm going to say yes. Two, I'm going to say no. It really depends on what you're applying for. In today's world, there's a lot of remote positions, right? So I would say it's okay if you're applying for something that's remote. But if it's something that you have to go into the office, I would definitely suggest you put your city, state, and zip code there, because sometimes they're looking for a person in a certain radius from the office, a certain location from the office, because maybe they don't want you to be driving an hour or 30 minutes. So it's best for you to put your city, state, and zip code there, because I know personally I wouldn't want to drive 1 hour to get to work. So go ahead and do that. My advice is you can never be too sure today, so just leave it on there regardless of it being remote, because sometimes even for remote positions they want you to be in the same state or in the same major city or something like that. So it's definitely important, in my opinion, to have your city, state, and zip code there. It's beneficial for both parties, let's just say that. Number 2, always make sure to put your education. Okay, education is important, especially let's say if you're filling out for something in the healthcare background or finance or something like that. You definitely want to list your certificates, your degrees, whatever, especially if it's pertaining to the job. You definitely want to add that there. Now, my advice is for those who are newly graduated or high school students, if you don't have a bachelor's degree, it is okay to put your high school degree there. Your high school information under education. That's fine. At least most of these jobs today, you need a high school education. So it is fine to put high school there. If you have your associates, you can go ahead and put it there. If you haven't completed a program, if you're in school, you're working on your degree or you're working on your certificate, you can also put the projected year of graduation so they know that you're still there. Like, for example, I am working on my PhD, so my expected graduation year is 2023. So I go ahead and put 2023 there, so when they read it, they know that, okay, she's still in school and she's been working throughout while being in school, so it doesn't really interfere with anything. It seems like she's able to juggle and, balance through. And even if you're not, and you're just coming back, or you're trying to switch positions or switch roles, and you're in school and you want to do something for that particular education that you're getting, or you want to just overall change jobs, then there's nothing wrong with you putting your education there. It does not interfere with anything. So go ahead. I like to do the top-down approach, which the top-down means what I'm doing most recent. If you have a PhD, you want to go ahead and put your PhD, your master's, and your bachelor's. If you have an associate's, you want to go ahead and put your associates in your high school. If you don't have anything and you just want to put your high school, just put your high school. All of those are fine. But putting your education, putting certificates is all a plus. I took a certificate in diversity and inclusion. I have that listed on my resume. If I was applying for something in the beauty industry, I would then go ahead and put a certificate of my license for beauty, right? Because I'm a licensed cosmetologist. I will go ahead and put when I finished. If they need the license number, sometimes it's okay to provide the license number on your resume depending on what you do, but I wouldn't do that. I will wait for them to approach me and ask me. You can always put at the bottom, available upon request, so they know that you have a license for something and you have the number, and if they're interested in you and they want to check your background, then they can request that. Okay, so always make sure to keep things private but not so private, and then put in available upon request. Okay? My third thing is use keywords on your resume. And what I mean by that is always think about what you're applying for, your position, and what you've done in your life. Whether it's a babysitting job, whether it's walking dogs, whether it's a nursing position, whether it's a hair position, whatever it is, use keywords, use the terminology that is in your field or whatever field that you're applying for. When you're talking of your experience, I'm going to give you an example. I am an HR consultant. So when I am doing recruiting for companies, or if I'm applying for a position, what I have on my resume is that I've sourced, which is a keyword for me. I've sourced for candidates, the type of platforms that I use to source for the candidates, how many recs, meaning how many applicants that I have to search for in one holding, in one search, all of that. Now, I don't want to use too much of the terms because some of you may not know what the heck I'm talking about, but I have to make sure that I know the lingo of the job that I have to provide. And I need to make sure that the job that I'm doing, it needs to be on the paper. Those keywords, those key terms that are so important, it needs to stick out on my resume, because once this sticks out on my resume, the recruiter then sees that, oh, okay, she has experience in dealing with 50 recs at one time, right? Meaning 50 different job posters with 200 applicants or something like that in each of the recs, the job postings. She can hold a lot. She can do a lot. That means that she's held 50 different positions and had over 200 applicants in each role. That's a lot. So then they're able to see that, okay, she can handle a lot, she can juggle a lot. Maybe this may be less for her, so maybe she will want to slow down, or maybe she likes a fast-paced type of job. So nowadays, we are using tools, right? Tools in applications. Like, let's say if you apply for a hospital, you're applying an application online. That means that this online application has a robot that is picking out keywords, key terms to find their candidates. So if the job has posted something, yes, you have that experience, but your resume does not reflect that keyword or key terms that the recruiter on the back end has typed in to find a person like you won't get found and you will not get a call because you did not use key terms on your resume for the robot to pick up. Hopefully I'm making sense. I know it's a little confusing, it's a lot, but just remember using key terms. What you do on a day-to-day is important, but don't write a 600-story book on what you've done at your job. Going to my fourth point, you want to minimize the sentences that you're using on your resume. I get resumes with full-blown storybooks under each location. I'm not reading all that. You want to keep your sentences 3 to 4, at least 3 to 4. And those 3 to 4 needs to be top, direct, informative with keywords. And that's it. Because you do not want to overwhelm the recruiter. They're not going to sit there and read everything. They're looking for particular things and then they're moving on to the next. So the longer your paragraphs are, the most it's unattractive. Lastly, tip number 5, you want to keep your resume 1 to 2 pages long, okay? If you are coming out for the first time, meaning you're now starting work, just graduated, you're now getting into the working field, 1 page is fine. If you had 2-3 jobs, 1 page is fine. Honestly, 1 page is ideal. But as you get older, you tend to get to 2 pages. Some people have 3 to 4 pages, 5 pages. Nobody's reading all that. Nobody's reading all that. My advice is to keep it to 2 at max. 2 pages with the most important stuff that you need for the job. Now, if you were a job hopper or you worked a lot for agencies, okay, I would tell you 2. 1, look at the job that you're applying to and think about which jobs or positions you have that can relate the most to this job and the criteria before sending a resume. Yes, you can have more than 1 resume, okay? You don't need to have just one. You can have one that can go to everybody, and then you can have one that is focused on a particular thing, like let's say social media. I'm a social media influencer. If I want to reach out and I'm creating a resume, which we don't use resumes, we use media kits, but this is just an example. And I want people to see the type of work that I've done and who I've worked for or whatever, then I will go ahead and create just a resume for that particular job, because my other jobs have nothing to do with that, and I don't want to send them 5 pages, 3 pages long of things that is irrelevant to them, right? So you want to make sure that you send resumes that are purposeful. You want to send resumes that are detailed to the position you are applying for. And you want to make sure you keep it 1 to 2 pages depending on your experience. If somebody is a CEO, I'm not expecting them to be on 1 page. No, that's impossible, because you have to show years of experience, right? You have to show that you are an expert in the field of what you do. So you need to make sure that you highlight that, but you want to make sure that whatever position that you're hiring for or are applying for, whatever position that you're applying for, it's related to that on your resume. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this. Please remember that sharing is caring in this community. If you have a friend going back into the working field, please go ahead and hit the share button. If you have a friend that has recently graduated, please go ahead and share this video, because we care about sharing. We want to see everybody succeed here. I'm so happy that you watched to the end. Please leave your comments down below. If you want to see more videos like this, please go ahead and give this video a thumbs up. That lets me know that you enjoy what I'm doing and I should continue to do what I'm doing, okay? Don't forget to hit the bell button so you get a notification of every time I post a new video. Thank you so much for watching. Bye now.